Everyone, welcome to another episode of Independent Artists Unite Song Series. Super psyched today to have Ceremony Shadows here. Welcome.
Thank you.
Cheers.
It's good to be back. Thanks for having us back on.
Hello, Scott.
You guys look so fabulous
Oh,
in
It's
the
thank
in
delightful.
your
you
in the
too.
recording room and everything. Wow. But this is like one thing that I love about you guys and love about your new album Ascension is it's so cohesive, you know? You guys
Hmm.
like look great together. Everything, all the promotional things, the music, the themes, everything goes so well together, and you really have
Or a
this
power couple.
yeah, you really have this feeling that there is just this total democracy happening, you know? It's just like feels like such a
True democracy.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I really love that.
Thank you. Yeah, it helps that we get along as people, and that I think sometimes shows through and makes it a little easier to have a cohesive presentation.
Yeah. And so much has happened since the last time we talked. I think it was like a year ago, actually.
It
And when
feels about right. Yeah.
things were just kind of getting off the ground, and now you guys have just like grown and grown and grown, and have this new album out, and it's like it's amazing. I feel like I was there when it all started,
Mm.
You were.
Aw.
You were
and
one of
it's
the
all
first people interviewing us in this format, and I remember that to this day. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, congratulations because the album is doing great and the streaming numbers are just like cruising in and you guys just keep building a bigger and bigger following and everything. And
Oh, geez. Thank you,
yeah,
Scott. And thank you for being a part of it too.
Yes.
yeah.
Like that's huge for us.
And
Uh,
supporting us even though we're satanic witches.
Well, my take on it isn't satanic witchdom, but maybe it's maybe I'm mistaken. I don't know. But I love also that it's this. Well, I guess it depends on what your idea of a witch, but I think of it as
Yes.
very positive messaging. It's like it's another thing I love about you guys is that it seems like these positive messages about you know the evolution of the soul and the evolution of the human being are built into these songs, um, which makes them like very forward thinking and modern. Um, but I remember last time is the same kind of the kind of formula was that Timu kind of formulates the music and then Anastasia and Jacob start playing around with vocals. And you were writing most of the lyrics, right, Anastasia, or
We read
Jacob?
them
Were you
together.
write them together? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Is that the same kind of setup for all these songs, or did you guys kind of create in new ways?
I think it's still pretty similar as we keep writing. As a matter of fact, we had a writing session just earlier before this. I think I certainly try to bring us together sooner so that the words and the way the words are positioned and the way the beats are just integrated at a really early stage rather than trying to kind of like force them to comply with the music and have a more organic way of creating. And that, I find that it's a lot more fun, and I think it's going to be better in the end.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people that don't know, let's talk a little bit about your guys' background because we have a very international setup here with you guys.
Yes, and yes,
Firstly,
and with you in Copenhagen, we're
yeah.
yeah, we're all over the place. Jacob, where are you? What's your
Oh,
background?
Where
so
are you?
born in Poland. What am I? I'm a Jacob, and I was born in Poland. Um, and I came here to the US when I was quite young, 3.5-ish, almost 4 years old.
Oh,
And I moved to Chicago into a vast Polish neighborhood. So I never left Poland really until I was about 12 years old when, yeah, I learned about America. And yeah, so, and I've been here in Portland for 17 years now and
Okay.
definitely call it my home in America. Hard to find another right now.
Yeah, I also grew up in Europe, and I think this is why Jacob and I connected when we first started to kind of hang out in the same spaces. I grew up in Germany. I moved to the US, Los Angeles, and in my mid 20s. And I've been in Portland for over a decade now.
Mm.
But I think there's sort of like this Euro radar
Yeah.
that I think I have where
Mm.
not only do I pick them out, I also tend to connect with them rather easily. That's something I think about that either having lived in Europe or having been born there, that some wavelength to connect to.
Mm.
Mm.
And Anastasia.
I'm actually an alien. I'm just kidding. No. But I pretend to be human here, and I'm from Colorado. It's really cool.
Okay.
I'm never going back there.
Well, it seems like we all may be hybrid alien human
Mm.
beings.
Right.
The junk DNA, it's
Hmm.
really alien DNA, but they call it junk DNA because they want to throw us off the track.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, when you were like when Anastasia, when you and Jacob are like thinking about this new album and putting together lyrics, were you envisioning a certain like tone or certain things that you wanted to write about, or did you just kind of take the inspiration from Timo's music?
I mean, we just wrote each song just inspired by Timo's music. We weren't
Mm.
trying to aim for. Well, I mean,
Well,
we were trying to make an album, but like
yeah.
I wasn't cohesively, purposely trying to
There
make
were
anything.
themes that were coming up though. Like, I mean, you were writing about things as Timo was
I mean, I just
making
write
the
about the
music.
experiences that I'm having in life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And
just everything is what's the word? Synchronistic.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
It all seems to be about the same thing.
yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I was thinking another thing about that's cool about you guys, because I know Timo, you started really as like a DJ, right? Doing your own thing, right? Or not
Um,
a DJ, but doing like more like trance music, right? Or like
More ambient stuff. Yeah,
ambient
yeah, yeah.
stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a solo project that was just me and doing sort of instrumental ambient stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
and I was thinking like the style of vocals you guys do with a lot of like spoken word things, or like it's not really spoken word, but they're spoken on certain notes too, which is cool. And but it really gives the music a starring role in it too. You know what I mean? Like it really gives it gives it room to like appreciate what's going on with the music.
Right, and this is something I really love about the way Jacob and Anastasia work with words. They're almost sometimes like percussion instruments, just the way certain consonants hit
Mm,
in comparison to the drums, or sometimes the vowels will like fill a space in a synth line. And I think they just have an innate talent to hear the music and come up with these words and the way they're placed, that it just melds really nicely with the way I write the music. And that's I think that's rare, and I personally really enjoy that.
mm. Yeah, I was saying this about someone else's music lately, but I can't remember whose, but it's just like nice and easy to listen to. You know what I mean? It's like, so, sometimes it's like when you're listening to music, it can be more challenging to listen to, and or sometimes you have to kind of like learn a song a little bit to be to like appreciate it, after many,
Mhm.
many listens. But
Yeah.
there's something about your guys' music where you're just like, I mean, it's like, it is almost like meditative as well, right? Because I know Anastasia, you do also do these kind of sound bath things and meditation
Yeah.
things too. So I think that finds its way
Little
into the
message.
music as well.
It was say it again. What did you
Oh,
say?
I didn't say
What
anything.
did you say? Oh yeah, no, it's about healing.
Mm-hmm.
So, right.
Which is
Yeah,
really reprogramming your beliefs in a sense.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
think there's an aspect of mantra, definitely, and yeah, and stage is awesome with providing that, yeah, kind of flow yeah, and thinking about it with the music, like what you said, kind of, I think we always think about it together and trying to keep that trance going through the songs with the vocals as well as how Timo does implement it throughout the music. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you said earlier about the theme of the album, and we didn't go into it with sort of the idea of like this is the theme of the album, but
Mm.
Mm,
as the songs came out, I think now retrospectively, I look back, I'm like, we actually had a theme, we just didn't know it. And the
Mm-hmm.
theme really is all about
Yeah.
self-improvement, and we really want to have a positive message and something that people can relate to and kind of like take something away from. And I don't think, or I certainly didn't set out to write an album like that, but I think individually the songs,
If you
as we
really
wrote
told us,
them,
let's write a positive,
right, we would have never done
would
it.
have been, ah,
yeah. Oh,
You would
yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
kicked me out of the band.
I like
So,
dark way.
yeah.
right. So I think it just kind of happened, and we just just
Yeah, I guess you can't say,
We're
okay,
really
we're gonna ride a dark wave. We're gonna surf a dark wave of positivity here.
into the
Yeah,
light.
yeah.
that's
Yes,
right.
that's exactly what
It,
we
it won't
did.
come out.
Positively done.
Into
Yes.
Yeah.
nice.
And what do you think about, I mean, I know it's like rooted in like personal experience and stuff, but how much of it is like this kind of the of the evolving of the soul and ascension of your own selves. It's how much is it affected by like the climate in the US right now? Because it's like you got your work cut out for you,
I
staying
mean, if you
positive,
think about
right?
reclaim,
Yeah.
reclaim like there's the mantra in there that my body is my own, which is my I that was a phrase that I heard in my head when I was told in a sweat lodge thing that I was in that we had to say like positive things about ourselves and like find ways to like find words that felt positive, but I was having trouble finding positive things. So instead, I was doing things that would make me feel challenged, like saying my body is my own, which I couldn't even speak it out loud.
Mm,
And they wouldn't let me out until I was able to say it. So I
wow.
was in there for a very long time. I finally was able to say my body is my own, and then it was like a whole breakdown thing. So why am I talking about this? Basically, just yeah, it's a
The
direct experience,
climate in
but
the
it's
US
oh, wait, the
right now.
climate, of course,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like
yeah.
just being as a person who was born with a vagina. Hey,
Well, I think no.
it's a sometimes disempowering thing, or you can believe that.
Mm,
So it's like it can be scary to be a person who has been born with a vagina because I don't want to say endangered species in the sense of like they're out
Mm.
to get you. You know, you are a
yeah,
hunted thing.
yeah.
Sometimes it's
Well, they're
a
out to
being
control
prey,
you, that's for sure. I think that's safe to say.
but not the prey is also the predator. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're trying to hit on sort of universal themes that many people can relate to. Like, the idea of bodily autonomy, I think, is just sort of this universal thing that every human being can somehow relate to. I think the our track Prey, there is, again, a universal human experience of, certain people look at the world as a zero-sum game, meaning I can only gain if you lose. And other
Mm,
people look at it like, no, if we work together, we can actually have more than the sum of its parts. And I think those are just really sort of universal themes that probably everybody experiences no matter where they're at, but certainly, that is something that I think is on a lot of people's minds right now.
yeah,
And abortion rights.
yeah,
It's
um,
heavy.
yeah, 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 yeah,
But also, I mean, as much as this you ask about this nation, I do think this is a worldwide issue across all
Abomination.
countries, and part of it is, the lack of people coming together as a whole at this point, and we're being pressured to more and more by the world itself.
yeah,
Uh, and we need to do it in a way that wasn't what we called globalism. And yeah, we need to do it for the earth.
yeah, yeah. I'm trying to always trying to take a positive spin on life. You know, I keep
Mm.
trying, but
Oh, you're doing great, Scott.
well, I mean,
Survivor.
Rose-colored glasses.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no, but I mean, just in terms of, it does seem like there's so much chaos, and like the chaos is building, but also it seems like historically there is chaos before something breaks, and there's a positive change, you know.
Mhm.
So that's what I try to think too, that this is, because it does also feel, doesn't it, like the kind of messaging that you guys are doing, you know, like that's out there too and growing, right? Like while all
Yeah.
this other like more negative chaos is growing. So I feel like yeah, it's a strange thing, because if there are in many ways there are like positive things to latch onto, you know, amidst all this chaos, and
I think so.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
Mm.
actually, yeah, pretty positive.
yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it's
It's
kind of
more of
like,
like a radical act, like
Mhm.
to be positive in the face of adversity.
yeah, yeah. But just like too, it's kind of like I think people are finding their tribes. Like it's like you guys could be like a microcosm of what is like happening, where people find their tribes and support each other, you know, and and it's like I've been talking a lot about, you know, like really struggled with mental illness, struggled with depression, but it's also like it's weird, because I think like depression is also like a logical response to world right now. You know what I mean? So it's
Right.
like it's kind of like, is it mental illness, or is it like spiritual evolvement, or like, you know, coming face to face with the, you know, all of these things? Is that just a natural response? You know?
Yeah,
Mm.
but to kind of connect to the word community that we were using, I think this is also something that one of the reasons why I make art. I think it's easy for sort of like-minded people to connect around
Yeah,
shared tastes in art, shared sense of music, right? Like subcultures usually emerge around, either a certain aesthetic or a certain musical style. And I think that's a really beautiful thing. And that's one thing that I think I really appreciated how the album came out. As you said, there is a cohesiveness to it that I
yeah,
feel now that I look back on it. And I think that's something that, either it grabs people or it doesn't, that's out of our hands. But at the very least, that is a point of view and an aesthetic and, sort of a message that we're trying to send. And hopefully it reaches people, and hopefully that, allows people to connect around in some way.
Yeah, well, it seems like it's working because you guys seem to just really have this like organic growth that keeps happening.
Yeah. We look at the numbers and we're just it's just it's still a little crazy that anybody listens to the stuff that we cook up in our basement. Yeah, that's how I feel sometimes. Um,
For all that
but
there is out
but you
there.
know what?
Yeah.
It's fantastic. If it brings joy to people or so it gets them stimulated in some way. I think that's huge to me
Mm.
personally.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah, I agree. I think it's great to put this stuff out there because then you can just like, yeah, I mean, you can share it with other people, or you put something out like Ascension, and then it's a conversation starter. Oh, well, what does that mean to you? You know, and things like that. Because I was having actually a kind of it felt like a kind of ceremony shadows conversation with my daughter last night because she was she's 16 and she's at this point where the kind of friend group that she was thrown into just by chance in school is very like mean girls, they're like
Mm,
negative and teasing, and she's blonde and they make like dumb blonde jokes and stuff like it's like what you know and I mean, and that's just the smallest part of it. And I was talking to her last night. She's having such a hard time because she wants to get away from that, and she's like a very positive person, very loving and very open-hearted and very like emotionally mature compared to them. And so I was just like talking to her last night about you will find your tribe, stick to what you're doing, and these kind of um the like the light will find the light and the dark will
right.
stay in the dark, and this is like I was thinking about talking to you guys today because I think this it's is essential in ways to like find a way to identify yourself in life, even if you don't have the art, to say, hey, I'm this type of person, and to have the courage to step out and say, yeah, I'm a positive, open-hearted person of the light or whatever, and I'm I don't need this kind of darkness and negativity.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that this is something also that I personally felt like making this album. I'm a very reserved, kind of shy person, and even like the idea of playing live was it still is terrifying to me. But um, in the process of making the album, like I learned that it's actually okay to be yourself. It's actually okay to put yourself out there. And so many times you're afraid of how you're being perceived, or how do people react to you, or what you represent, or what you do. And I think most of the time people are actually okay with that, and they actually admire if you have a point of view and you put yourself out there in a certain
Mm.
way. And you don't have to be afraid of that. You don't have to be afraid to be yourself. And that's a lesson that I'm still learning every day, to be comfortable with that. But I think making this album has really helped me in that way.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a bit about the live show because you guys have been putting yourself out there quite a bit. What is the reaction when you guys play? Are people kind of getting in a trance and dancing a bit, or are they coming up and staring at you guys and seeing what it's about, or like what are like some of the reactions?
Mm. How would you describe the last show?
Um,
The last show.
let's see. It's funny. I think two things stand out. Looking back at the last couple of shows, one of them is that some people started to sing along to our songs, and
Oh, awesome.
that was just sort of like a achievement unlocked kind of experience.
Yeah,
That people have listened enough that they know the words and they sing along.
that's so
Um,
cool.
that,
I
Yeah.
paid them to
just let
You're
me have
very
this one.
credit. Good.
And the other thing is people dance. It takes them like maybe two songs to kind of like
Yeah.
warm up to us
Yeah, yeah,
because when we come on stage, it's kind of it's a kind of like pretty stark experience by design. But I think once people kind of like get into it,
Yeah.
they start dancing, they start loosening
Yeah.
up, and it's really nice to see.
The last show, I feel like half the people kind of knew what they were getting into coming in, and the other half of the people hadn't seen us before, maybe heard our music but hadn't seen us.
Mm.
And I think that half, as they got into dancing later, because I think their mouths were just kind of gaping for a little bit for the beginning part, because they were like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, so
My favorite
because
was like,
the live experience is
what was
something
it, like our
that
second
is
show, Jacob?
unique to like just the album. Like, yeah, Timo's done so much work with the lights and the
Yeah, it
light
looks fabulous.
and the
Yeah,
video as well. Like, yeah, really puts us in a different space altogether.
yeah,
I think is like the full design of Ceremony Shadows. Um, and at some point, really, we're gonna need to make like an album that is a video
Right.
and yeah, do something like that because I think it's almost inherent to what your vision is really
Right.
too. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It's funny you say that because I was when I was listening to the album, I pulled up on Spotify the I can't remember what they call it now, but just
Oh, the
like
canvas, like the
the
little
camera.
video.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yes,
Yeah.
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 And it actually is cool to go through and see what backgrounds you guys put for everything. But I really love that. What is that one video artist with the black and white? You had announced it on
Oh,
Instagram
Arson Rivers.
with the star thing and the
Yes.
and the kind of looks like modern dancing kind of figure. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's
he's
so
fantastic.
beautiful. Yeah. And it
Yeah.
goes so beautifully with the music.
I think we're gonna put that one out as a full video, because we have a whole, for the whole song, we have the video art. It's being projected when we play live, but we
Yeah.
have it, so might as well put it out on YouTube. So thank you for the reminder.
Yeah.
That's something I need to do.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really beautiful. What was I just gonna say? Sorry, it just slipped my mind. Um, oh, I was just gonna mention that I'm so grateful that you asked me to contribute backing vocals on Ascension, you know. That
Yeah,
is
I
Yes.
was actually wondering that. Well, I was wondering how you felt about that, and like, well, what your experience of doing the recording actually was, because we didn't get to be there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I was, I was well, I love the song and I was like very inspired to do this well, being a bit of a drama queen, I've been accused of. So I heard this really
Oh,
this
perfect.
It was perfect. When I
it
got
was like
your
Yeah,
vocals back, I'm like, yes.
yeah, it was
but I was
awesome.
What we were
I would
hoping
put it
for.
into a new space, and that was
I was a little like, oh geez, I hope I'm not like trying to take over the whole
No,
song by
please.
doing that.
We don't do that diva stuff.
no, it was a
Well,
good,
Jacob's a diva, I
it
guess,
was a
but a
good
different
start.
one. He's like a
Yeah, so I hope I just hoped I didn't overdo it, But then
oh,
I figured, well, I want to I'll give you a bunch of different things, and you can use whatever you use.
that was awesome.
It
But
worked really well. Thanks again for doing that.
yeah,
Your
yeah,
voice was just like it kind of fit perfectly into what we're trying to do there. So it was really great.
yeah. It really sounds good. The end result. But it's funny because I did it, and then we didn't really talk about it for all this time,
Right,
Yeah,
right. I
and
think this is the first time we're getting to chat about it. Yeah.
so I was like, I wonder if I made the final cut, because I saw some Instagram posts where with some other vocalists that you said were singing on it as well, and then I was like, oh geez, maybe they replaced me with someone else that didn't like
Oh
me.
no.
So I was,
I made sure to tag you in all of them. And if I for some reason missed you in a post, let me know. Because you're definitely in there.
oh yeah, no, well, I think it was just a post with one of the a female singer that was doing some vocals as
Oh,
well. So
glory.
I think it
Yeah,
wasn't like all the singers. It was just like
yeah.
it was just like a post saying, "Oh yeah," and she was singing back the vocals of this and all. So then
Right,
yeah,
right.
yeah, just
Yeah.
I thought, oh God, maybe I've been replaced.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
was,
funny.
Annalisa starts it off. Annalisa does glory, and yeah,
yeah,
she
yeah, yeah,
starts it off at the beginning.
yeah. But yeah, I feel yeah, I feel like it was a great gift to be asked to be part of part of the Ceremony Shadows collective,
You're
Part of
part
our
of the
ritual.
family now, whether
Yeah,
you like it or
yeah,
not.
yeah.
One of us
Well,
here.
I feel it's an honor because not only as an artist, but I know you guys wouldn't ask uh, me to be a part if you didn't feel like I belonged in your kind of tribe,
Oh,
as well.
Oh,
So
Exactly.
that's
cheers.
that
Yes.
feels like more personal and even nicer, So I
Yay.
appreciate it. Um,
Oh,
Unfortunately, we're going to get cut off in a little bit because I stopped my pro Zoom, and so we're limited to 30 minutes. Um, but is are you said you're working on some new stuff already? Like,
Yeah.
are
We're
you thinking about a new
conceptualizing.
single and stuff, or are you going to keep releasing kind of videos and pushing singles from the album?
I think, well, I certainly would love to put another full album out, and the three of us have talked quite a bit about like what is the vibe, what's the theme, like what's the concept behind that. So I think we're pretty far in
Oh,
into sort of
cool.
that journey. And as you know, you have to drop singles on Spotify these days. You just have to.
Yeah.
So we'll probably release some along the way. But the idea is going to be there's going to be another sort of cohesive album out there
Oh,
that we're
awesome.
already working on. Yeah.
maybe some remix.
Yeah, maybe some remixes are going to be there along the way. So yeah.
Okay, cool. And are you going to do the remixes yourself, Timu, or are you going to invite people in to
I
shake it
haven't
up?
really thought about it yet. We have one remix of our track Pray that's already done by another artist that we're going to release, probably along with a different track. And then, you know, part of my personal challenge is I really want to focus on getting this next album done.
Yeah,
And getting involved in a whole bunch of remixes, as much as I love collaboration, it kind of takes you sometimes away from the work that needs to get done.
yeah,
So I don't know. Well, we'll find a balance.
yeah. Well, I look forward to it. And yeah, I'm calling myself an honorary member of your tribe.
Yes.
You are.
I'm thrilled to do so. And much, much, much continued success to you guys. I just think I love your relationship to each other. It's like you feel the love, feel the bond, and it makes it into the music, and it's just like the whole thing's a lovely experience. So, thank you all for your artistry and sharing your your love with us.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us back on, and congratulations on your releases as well. I was just looking over your discography. You've
thank
been a
you.
busy man yourself.
Yeah, well, you know, survival, survival. That's it for me. Get the thoughts out, keep
That's
going,
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right.
right.
Yeah. You
Well,
understand. Yes.
It's kind of like my one line through existence, so I keep returning to it
Yeah.
just to
It's a
survive.
beautiful
But
thing. Yeah.
but thank you. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
cheers.
Speak to you guys soon.
All right. Take care,
Uh,
Scott.
Bye.
Always good to
bye,
see you.
Scott.
Bye.
Love ya.